Hi everyone, how is everyone? Hot day in Berlin and one more to go. I promise you it's going to be a worthwhile one. For me, when I say I'm super excited to be here today, it's because it's also a full circle moment. 15 years ago, I was working in Uganda for a women's magazine, and I was working with African fashion designers. And to be back here now and talking about fashion, being back into fashion, when I was talking to them about setting up Kampala Fashion Week and the Uganda Fashion Council and putting Africa on the map, and now being here at Berlin Fashion Week by the German Fashion Council, it's pretty crazy. I have goosebumps, so thank you for having me. But what makes me a bit sad is that 15 years later, we're still talking about a lot of the same problems that fashion is having. And so what is fashion's new reality right now? I think one of the biggest things that have changed is that we're all seeing tech is accelerating. Tech is everywhere. Everyone is doing something. It's like a firework of hype. AI stylists, chatbots, digital product passports. But what I'd like to argue today in this keynote is that we are automating so fast. What we're actually needing is more clarity. It's not speed that we should be after. It should be a moment in time where we think about changing the system from within. Because right now, it probably is an unprecedented moment that we have the tools and that we also have next generation leaders that want to save the planet and want to go forward with this. So maybe now's the time to solve fashion's biggest problems. And the first time now, we can actually not only optimize and be faster and more productive, we can also rewrite the rules. And what I want to give to you today is a little bit of a playbook so that when you walk out here, you have an idea how to future-proof yourself and you're maybe a bit less confused about all this hype that is going on and a bit less overwhelmed. So what is my job? I'm head of cultural insights and trends at Loop. Loop is a digital agency. We are a global company with over 400 staff. We also have an office here in Berlin. I'm based in Salzburg. If you're wondering about my strange accent, I've also lived in Australia. And we do global work for Porsche and Puma and Breitling, but we also work for fashion brands like Tencel, Marco Polo, Mac Jeans, or CNA. So we do trend reports for our customers. We work at the intersection of culture, fashion, and digital technology, always on the lookout for what's next. And when I do these trend reports, I see a lot of stuff coming and going. I see a lot of TikTok trends and Instagram trends and so on and so forth. But we've actually identified 3 major shifts that you should put on your radar right now to really be ahead of everyone else and probably ahead of 90% of the CEOs out there if you pay attention to these big shifts. The first one is a very obvious one that everyone in fashion is now seeing, but I'd like to redirect your attention. What we're seeing is Zalando and H&M doing these AI models. We're seeing AI-generated content, and of course, that is scary. We're worried about what tech will do to us and what it will do to our creativity. And actually, Zalando is saying 70% of their images are also already AI-generated, and it's showing results. There's 90% reduction in production costs, and also if you look at the production time from like 6 to 8 weeks, now we can do stuff in 3 to 4 days, and that is scary, of course. But at the same time, why don't we look at how AI is actually empowering startups? And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, and I see a lot of discussion, and I see a lot of startups actually working in this field, but I also see the big guns, like LVMH and also Chanel just 3 weeks ago, launching upcycling programs and caring. And also Prada, just last week, their CMO, he's only 37 years old, Lorenzo Bertelli, the son of Miuccia. He just pledged 2 million for their ocean fund. So this is a new generation of leaders. As well, if you take Bill Gates' daughter, Phoebe Gates, she just launched a startup. She could have done anything, but she's doing a browser extension where you actually see a blue pop-up and it asks you, should I buy this? And then it shows you second-hand options. And of course you could say these are Nepo babies, or also these big conglomerates have to do it because there's laws coming and they have to prepare. But I really think there's a mindset shift here. And if we're being honest, customers still won't pay for sustainability because even with the harsh economic climates right now, this is not happening. 15 years ago it wasn't happening, and it's still not happening. So it's really up to us within the fashion industry to take this moment right now and move forward. And there are next generation leaders that we can count on to really push this forward and make fashion circular. The second big shift that we see a lot as a digital agency, of course, is in communications and in marketing. And Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they are like somewhere else. They're on social media, but they're moving into gaming. 90% of them are playing games daily. They are on their phone, they're on FIFA, they're on Roblox, they're on Fortnite. And what they do there is actually dressing avatars, and they're twisting and turning products, and they're seeing them in 3D. And imagine them going onto a 2D website, a 2D e-commerce website. It's completely boring for them. So this is the direction that it's going, and you need to be there where your future customers are. And also, interestingly, they are using AI very differently to what we've expected. They're actually conversing. We heard it before. They're in a dialogue with AI. So they ask ChatGPT, help me build a capsule wardrobe, upload their whole wardrobe, and then ask for brands. So as a brand, you need to make sure that AI suggests you. And actually, I made a bit of an experiment coming to this speech here, and I asked ChatGPT, what should I wear? And I have memory on, so it knows me quite well. And it knows that I'm not a futurist, you know, like I always think maybe as a futurist I should wear really the newest, trendiest, craziest thing. And it said, no, go for clarity, wear something white. And we discussed, and that's the outfit now. But actually, I should have put on my human brain because I already have a stain. And it's just been a disaster even walking the 6 minutes from the hotel to here. So always turn on your brain. I'm going to get to that more when you interact with AI. But it's really cool what you can do. And we're just at the very beginning. And it's really fun to try it out and also have brands suggested to you by it that way. So there's really a mindset shift you need to be aware of. And maybe, just maybe, think for a few hours, what would my brand look like if it wasn't created in an atelier, but inside Roblox? And I know this is a big ask, but I think if you have a teenager nearby, if you don't, borrow one and talk to them for an afternoon, and just let them explain to you what they do in these worlds, because you get a lot of information where it's going next, and you get information about how they engage with digital products and then take them into real life and what is interesting for them. The third big shift that we're seeing, also as a digital agency, because we work very closely with brands globally, is that it doesn't work to scale your brand anymore. There's no more mainstream. There's a niche within the niche within the niche. And it's really important to not let AI do the talking. Because, of course, you can do a sentiment analysis. You can put all the data in there and then have AI tell you what to do. But I hear clean data all the time. Yeah, you have to decide what kind of data you put into AI. And that is still you. That is still you as the creative director or the CMO of your fashion brand. You have to decide what data AI plays with. And I chose the example of Loewe. I made this presentation 2 months ago because Anne gave me a lot of time to do it, but it's now like even more significant, I guess, with Jonathan Anderson taking over at Dior. He really understands how to play in those niche subcultures. And remember that tomato that went viral? This guy said, this tomato looks like Loewe, and then he did a bag, and then now they're gifting him the bag. And other brands that really understand this well are, for example, Mischief or Marc Jacobs or also Gentle Monster. They're really deep in those subcultures. And also, interestingly, just I think 2 days ago, Google announced it's investing 100 million in Gentle Monster. It's a Korean eyewear brand, and they want to become a competitor to Meta with Meta Ray-Bans. Now we've seen Meta Oakleys. So this is really how tech will work in the future. It will always be inside of cultures. But these three big shifts are just really, really difficult to map out for just one individual. Maybe, there's 2 or 3 people inside some of these big AI corporations that know what the future holds, but to all of us, it's just super, super confusing. So I think we need to look at a new way of doing things in fashion and also looking for a new way of leadership. And here's 3 things that you, as a leader in this area, can train your future instinct and can put yourself forward more. The first one is definitely to experiment. We've heard a lot about AI today. I think AI is a technology that you cannot just read about. You have to do it. You have to try. And only like that, you will see what it can do for you. This is not the real Prada runway. This is someone doing something with AI with it. And this just also shows there's so many creative things you can do with it. And you need to connect with those creatives. And I think something like the Metamorphosis Talks is such a great opportunity for that, because you can find, people to work with, and you can just do something very small and test it first. And myself, I was exploring a lot of NFT, metaverse, digital fashion stuff 3-4 years ago, and I know that a lot of people have done that too in here. And yeah, I've lost money, but it wasn't money lost. Like for me, I learned so much about how I can be innovative myself and how I can adjust to new technology. And I think if you're a company scared of doing something, once you do it, you identify the people in your corporation who are transformation agents and who are quick to see new things. And if that's the only thing that's come out, it already put you forward and made you more future-proof. So the second thing about this here is that you shouldn't bore customers with tech talk. Also learned that the hard way during the NFT time. If you talk about that stuff too much, customers will not follow you. Because brands must be culture first and tech fluent, not the other way around, not tech first and then completely culture lost. The second thing is, again, I say it again and again, culture. Culture is so important. And I just saw a new Polaroid ad today which said, AI cannot generate the sand between my toes. And I thought that's just so cool, because it just also shows what we're creating here today. I'm sure you'll have discussions, you go home, you come up with a new thing. AI can't do that. And it's this emotional energy that's underneath the innovation, and that's where those signals show up. And it's really important right now to not stay in your bubble. The algorithm tells us to just stay on one lane, and then we don't really innovate. So it's really important to go out there and look at new stuff and be open to it. And like that, you'll also refine your taste and you'll know what's next much more easily. And within all of these discussions, I think when we talk about culture, we see that there's 5 rules, I'd like to say, that are emerging. That creativity is actually what sets you apart. It is your credibility engine if you are creative. And like that also, taste is your new selling proposition, because what you, from all this AI content that you create, choose to put out there is your brand. And like that, you also make sure your brand survives. And I just have been looking into Johnny Ives a bit more, because he's now creating, as you know, with OpenAI, he's going to create probably most used AI gadget in the future, so he's an important person to have an eye on right now. He actually said that we as humans, we have a spiritual feeling for when there's care put into a product, when there's thought put into a product. And that will be even more important in the future, and that will be a very strong differentiator. So feeling human, I believe, will be your cultural currency in the future. And the third part of the playbook is that now we're not talking about digital over there and real life over there. It's all merging together. And something you shouldn't sleep on are those Apple Vision Pro glasses. It's not there yet. The technology is not there yet. But in 5 to 10 years, we will be moving away from our mobile phones. So I saw there's an Apple store over there. I'm not endorsing them, but try out anything. You can go in there and put the glasses on, and you get a feel for what this technology is about and where it could go into the future. Because I believe when we will look back at the last 20, 30 years, we're going to say, tech was so boring and so complicated, and this emerging tech now is giving us a chance to be more human again. I really feel the user experience will be super easy in 5 to 10 years, and we'll be talking to AI, and things will be much easier. So your playbook for the future, to sum up, is to experiment, to immerse, and to also be playful and try things out. And like that, your future instinct will get a lot stronger. And actually, you will be able to also turn on your bullshit radar much quicker when some hype stuff is coming at you. And you'll be able to distinguish those innovations. 99% of innovations fail. There's only 1% that sticks, studies have shown. So it's pretty crazy what we're actually confronted with now. So being human is your superpower in a world shaped with AI, because nobody knows what's next right now. My future instinct brought me from shopping textiles in Kampala 15 years ago to here today. I'm wondering where we all will be in 15 years. It's going to be, I don't think we'll be in the metaverse, actually. So it will be very interesting. And yeah, I hope to see you somewhere in this future. In the meantime, if you want to play more, we have launched an AI playbook on our website. You can download it for free. You can put your name on it, copy it, adapt it. It also has a lot of human touch in there, and you can find it on our website. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Liese. And